whole yoga thing is to come out of all this existential, needless confusion. But I don't know, something about the human conundrum is, very enticing as well. Um, Om Shanti. So this month's dedicated to conversation around transformation. Yes, transformation. And I'll just say we've looked at this from a number of perspectives, right? And tonight's angle is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Um, it's to say that there are vehicles for transformation, like prescribed methods or a systematic approach or reliable steps. You know, back in the 90s, Stephen Covey came out with this book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Maybe you remember, maybe you still got it on your shelf. And it seemed a little groundbreaking at the time. I was just a young man, so what do I know? Or how many books have I read? But it seemed to me that on the horizon of things, it was probably not the first book, but it seemed very pronounced in that it was like, here it is. Here's your seven habits. Get to work. And the title itself was very compelling, it seemed. And probably his advice was probably pretty compelling as well. Turns out that the numbered steps formula has been around actually a lot longer than that. And Patanjali in Yoga Sutras of Patanjali lays out a number of vehicles. In fact, the entire body or canon of yogic texts or scriptures is laden with, one, two, three recipes for your angst and woes and suffering and malaise, and desire for fullness and desire for divinity, etc. There's lots of, multi-pronged approaches. And in Yoga Sutras, there's three notable ones that it depends how you want to count. There's other ones you could add to the list, but the most famous is the Ashtanga Yoga ladder, or the eight limbs. Sometimes students approach me, prospective students, and they say, I want to know more about the eight limbs, right? Meaning I want my body of understanding to be even bigger than just asana, right? So Ashtanga Yoga, that's a notable vessel. Uh, Kriya Yoga, which has eight limbs. And Kriya Yoga has, in the beginning of book two, he mentions a vehicle called Kriya Yoga, which has three limbs, right? And which is more direct, but gives you a little it narrows the path considerably. And it's difficult to find someone who can practice just three things with devoutly or that fully. It asks more of you. It narrows the lane considerably in terms of your lifestyle and pursuits and those, if you take it seriously, right? Whereas an eight limb system gives you a little more latitude, um, a little more room to move about, a little more nuance. It's a little bit like a spider. It can crawl into all the little crevices of your life and your psyche and your circumstance and get in there and clean house a bit with its eight limbs. And fewer limbs still, again, this is all around a conversation about transformation. Like, how are we going to arrive at our, say, fullest potential or fullest realization? And by full potential, I'm not, it's less about like material accomplishment, like, oh, second home in Aspen sure would be nice. That sounds like full potential. It's less about those sort of pursuits and more about this transformation project is more directed at realization or realization of one's essential nature or the nature of this creation and having the most complete view, highly informed, highly attuned, highly wise, highly resourced, highly insightful, highly uh, intuitionally spot on. All right. That's the kind of transformation yoga cultivates or aims towards. And the first vehicle, Patanjali lays this out in book one, is called Abhyasa Bharagyam Tan Nirodhana. So practice, regular practice, that's what we do here on Wednesday night, right? Regular practice, and perhaps every morning, regular sadhana, or evening for that matter. Regular practice, and not a popular word in US culture, but dispassion, regular practice and dispassion, the ability to let go of things, needless things, viceful things, are the way to essentially develop peace. Regular practice, consistency of practice, and the ability to let go are how we develop peace. And this word dispassion is actually vairagyam, is what in Sanskrit. Raga means to color, right? Imagine Jackson Pollock or something, or some other colorful artist. And they get their yellow out and they get their red out and they get their green out, and it's all lovely and well. And let's say you had glasses, and you're roaming about this earth, and now it's time for the red glasses, and now it's time for the yellow glasses, and now it's time for the green glasses, and you're flipping around like this, and you're seeing the world through these colored lenses, which may be amusing at times, but maybe you wind up wearing the red glasses on a really hot sunny day, and it's a little too intense, but you can't seem to get them off. Trade them for the green ones, or as you would like. But anyway, we're like flipping these glasses, and V means without or non-coloring. So just to be able to perceive life or circumstance or self or whatever it is that's right in front of us, a fuller view, without any sort of distortion or coloring, be it hyper-enthusiasm or be it lament, getting angry because it didn't work out the way we wanted. Just to see life in its actual color, as opposed to like the projections that get laid onto circumstances, is that idea. Yeah. So we'll tinker with this a bit in practice, right? And vairagya, in my experience, can be quite elusive. Like there's the theory of vairagya, and like, oh no, what's all the stuff I have to give up? Or that sounds boring, or something like that. But then the actual taste of it is not those things. It just feels more like relief. Relief. Like I'm not chasing the things that I maybe made them out to be really super important, but I'm actually realizing there's other dimensions to how to my preconceptions about life and circumstances.